Yo, YouTube, back at it again with another YouTube reaction, bro. We got a special one for y'all. If y'all don't know who Tommy G is, Tommy G is like, I don't know, he's like uncensored media, if you will. You know what I'm saying? His YouTube channel be going crazy. He be having all type of cool ass videos, all stuff that you could check out. So if y'all hip to Tommy G, man, go ahead, check this man out, bro. Tommy G be bringing the content, my boy. So this video is about how American guns get smuggled to the Mexican cartel, nigga. Do you know what the Mexican cartel is? Yeah, it's called Leave Them Niggas Alone, okay? So Tommy G bringing us the video. Shout out to Tommy G, bro, if you ever watching this reaction, bro. You doing your thing. I'm reacting to this content. Be sure to tap them links down below. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Without any more introduction, man, we finna get right into it, man. Shout out Tommy G, man. Let's get it. Let's see what's going on.
I do get firearms, I send them across the border, make money for myself from that, other people make money from it. Today I'm going to discuss how guns
Damn, that's what they smuggling over there?
Would you say you have a dangerous job?
Yeah, probably the most dangerous you can have. It's literally
Jesus Christ.
just storing it away and sending it about its way. So my mom was in jail, I need to put food on the plate. I ended up sending it to somebody who ended up taking it to California and making money off of it, so everybody ate at the end of the day.
2009-10 was like our wild, wild west days out here where we were in chases every day.
And what are the odds someone has eyes on us right now?
Oh, pretty good, dude, because these are all scout hills.
At what age would you say you officially joined an organization?
So I was about 10, 11 years old.
We spoke with a cartel member last night that alleged that one of the ways it gets through is paying off Border Patrol, paying off police.
Yeah, I would not disagree with that.
What is the cost to buy a Border Patrol agent?
A week, $9,700.
In a good month,
Damn.
How many guns can you get across the border?
I want to say close to that. Yes, it is.
Tommy G be
The
risking
power
his
Mexican
life, bro.
cartels have accumulated is hard to fathom.
Shit.
With Jalisco New Generation Cartel and the Sinaloa Cartel leading the charge, these paramilitary crime syndicates have global reach. They are heavily armed, deeply connected, and absolutely ruthless. Specializing in drug trafficking, human smuggling, extortion, and more, these organizations pull in billions of dollars every year. And the United States plays a part in this because the ugly truth behind some of their power is American guns. Now, as Americans, we get mad about the fentanyl flooding across our border. But what about our guns that are flooding into Mexico? In this episode, we expose the pipeline. From cartel operators to U.S. gun smugglers running thousands of firearms across the border to the law enforcement agents fighting to stem the flow. These folks are the players in this deadly supply chain of power and violence. And would you believe that some of our own three-letter agencies might be involved? This is the story of how American guns end up in the hands of Mexican cartels.
I definitely believe that.
What's up, brother? Good to meet you. Is it true that different people in the game are on the run right now?
Oh yeah, most of the people I know just either their people either got hit by, one of the three people that were going out there raiding people, or just had some shit happen, or some people didn't know how to do it, and they gotta go on the run. So Mexico is just the go-to right now. States are too hot, state troopers, Border Patrol up in Phoenix.
So do you have a fear that if you did a bad business transaction that someone would come
I ain't gonna lie, Tommy G, how do you be finding these niggas? Like, how do you be finding these niggas that want to interview you and get on camera and all that? How do you be finding these niggas, bro? It can't be Instagram. That's too obvious for these niggas to be on there.
looking for you?
I don't fear for my life at all in this situation, just because throughout this whole business, I've been clean business. I see myself as a way of just normal, civilian that's out here just trying to make money. So you're gonna have the gun itself, where the gun is, who's the one that's either gonna get it or who has it. I go buy that off that person at a price where I can make a profit for myself. I send someone into a store to go get something from me, and I have my people that I sell it to at a pretty good markup they send it to one of their kind of workers, drivers, and just gets taken down to Mexico in like units.
So you don't physically drive across the border?
No.
That's kind of more safer. He don't actually have to go over there, so he got this joint down to a T to where he don't even gotta touch the border. He just make the profit and then they go handle
Would you
that.
say you have a dangerous job?
Yeah, probably the most dangerous you can have. Because you're not just dealing with, legal issues, you're also dealing with territorial issues.
For those not familiar, the Sinaloa cartel is one of Mexico's most feared and notorious drug cartels. It was led for years by El Chapo Guzman, a ruthless kingpin famous for running a global crime empire and escaping a Mexican prison in 2015 through a mile-long tunnel. He was recaptured in 2016 and extradited to the United States, where he's now being held in ADX Florence, America's most secure prison. He's locked up alongside people like infamous gang leader Larry Hoover and the Boston Marathon bomber. And with El Chapo behind bars, Sinaloa's future has never looked more uncertain. But make no mistake that from Chicago to California, Omaha to Phoenix, the Sinaloa reach is still quite powerful.
Type vibe.
All right, folks, we have a sheriff pulling up from
that boy got
Pinal
that
County. He's
war
had a
zone
lot of
loadout on
experience
him.
in the field. We're going to be
Jesus
interviewing him
Christ.
as well. You have the wildest collection of patches that I think I've ever seen. If we interviewed a cartel member last night, what are the odds that he would be Sinaloa given the control they have in the area?
If he's not Sinaloa, then he's risking his life.
What's your process to do it?
It's literally just storing it away and sending it about its way.
And are you physically driving it in a car, or do you have other people do that?
No, there's a chain of command and there's people that do that. You can go into a gun store right now and buy, your typical mini-me, something like that for $9,000. But if it falls out the back of the truck, I can get it for $5,000.
Do you work for one primary cartel, or do you freelance amongst many?
Just one.
Is there any
So he
difference in
actually
how
worked for a
difficult it is to do
cartel.
business from the Biden administration to the Trump administration?
There might be a couple hiccups, but it's all business. It's all the same. Honestly, it's crazy. I can't imagine the border right now. People are scared to go across more than ever before. The risk and like the paranoia of it, because like some of this shit is like they'll load your car up with like 20 blocks. And like imagine trying to drive across the border, like thinking that, and then if the X-ray's gonna pick you up, shit like that. I guess nerve-wracking, Like, once the border got tighter, things are harder to get into America, you know what I mean?
Was it actually that easy with Biden as president?
I felt like there was a lot more things coming in.
Is it noticeably more difficult now that Trump is in office?
Yeah.
Under the Biden administration, it was a free flow of everything. The people have stopped coming across so much. I mean, we're way down. I think we were at about 7,000 to 12,000 a week, and we're at like 300 to 700 a week now.
At what age would you say you officially joined an organization?
Bro, 7,000 a week, nigga, to like 300 people? That is a huge drop off. Golly, boy.
I was about 10, 11 years old.
Look at Tommy G.
Using pyramids.
There was a study done by the U.S. government
been
from the
Nick too, I
Government
ain't gonna lie.
Accountability Office that found that 70% of firearms found in Mexico traced their roots to America. Does that surprise you?
That's probably lowballing it.
Yeah, it might even be closer to 80, 90.
For sure. No, if anything, I feel like it would be a larger number.
Closer to 80, 90% maybe?
Yeah, probably closer to 90.
How much power do the cartels have in places like this, in Arizona?
On the American side, they are very smart businessmen, right? They don't, they're getting a little more overt about their stuff, but you just don't have a lot of in your face like you do in Mexico, right? We don't have rolling gun battles here. Sinaloa holds pretty good control of our state. They have not given it up, and they've been here a lot of years.
Are there people in America that are officially part of a cartel, or is that only if you live in Mexico?
It's going to stretch all over the world. We'll just put it that way.
Now, according to Arizona law, these gun smugglers could face up to 10 years in prison if caught for the crime. But what's interesting to me is the same U.S. government that will hammer these guys for selling guns also like to sell a lot of guns overseas themselves. This has happened a lot of times in recent history, but let's just highlight a couple of recent examples. Take the Soviet-Afghani conflict in the 1980s. The CIA funneled tens of thousands of guns to the Afghan fighters, the Mujahideen, to win the battle against the dreaded Soviets, our enemy at the time. Fast forward a few years later, the same Mujahideen fighters that we armed with the guns that we gave him, some of these guys later turned into the Taliban, which was really good for the military-industrial complex because this fueled another 20 years of war and profit. And most recently, for the United States politicians and arms manufacturers, we have sent billions to Ukraine and Israel, which some could say the US taxpayer is indirectly responsible for the deaths of tens of thousands of people, including women and children. So while a low-level smuggler might spend a decade behind bars for moving a few rifles across the border, the corporations and politicians who benefit from this arms dealing will walk free. Because
And that's so backwards, bro. You see how messed up America is? Shit is so backwards, bro. Like,
when the
no
violence
cap.
is industrialized, it's no longer a crime. It's just good business. Is there any misrepresentation of the American media about the cartels? Like, basically that they're horrifying terrorist organizations?
It's not how they picture it though. It's all media is so brainwashed and they say, oh, the cartel, it so runs this whole area and if you go there, they're gonna kill you or this and that. Yeah, the cartel might run a specific area, but as long as you're there and you're not causing no trouble or you're not there to steal from nobody or just sell anything, you know what I mean? If you're just there on good terms and like checking in, everything be good.
Do you think that's a fair picture American media makes of them?
No, that's easy to label something that you can tax. We gotta take care of our own people, you know? The government ain't helping. We see
facts.
cartels sending, you know, side bombers or people in the United States to go do mass shootings and get their agenda across or anything. You know, most of the things that cartels do, unless it's someone in America that was working with them and fucking over somehow, that's when they'll go after you as a person in America.
What do you think about Trump potentially labeling cartels as terrorist organizations?
Damn.
This is extremely important for Americans without health insurance or those looking to change their plan. Thanks to the affordable...
When you work on cars as much as I do, you learn what matters most.
Say that. I don't gotta go nowhere.
He should start here with the people on this side.
What do you think would happen if Trump tried invading Mexico or drone striking cartel operations?
It's not gonna be good.
Currently in the news, the US and the Trump administration is considering using drone strikes against the Mexican cartels. But how do we know if these stories are biased, how they're being framed politically, if we're getting the right scoop on what we're being told? This is where the sponsor of today's video comes in, Ground News. What they do is they pull
I'm skipping that, my fault.
Time we have carne asadas, we get together and play loteria, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. The difference being when they go to work, it could be to go skin somebody alive that's their enemy, you know. This road in particular is a major smuggling route, and I've had a lot of chases on this route.
And what road are we on right now?
We're on Stanfield Road. These mountaintops will have scouts on them. So all of these valleys out here can have routes where they are pushing people and product up, and they use those routes. The scouts guide the loads. When they get up here to kind of the civilization, that's when they'll hit these regular routes, blacktop routes, on the freeway, shoot up into Phoenix, because Phoenix becomes the hub.
And what are the odds someone has eyes on us right now?
Oh, pretty good, dude, because these are all scout hills.
Why is torture used so often amongst the cartels?
Pain is the best teacher.
So you're a runner, go to a gun store, get it. Let's say it's me. If I get flagged, okay, that's a mission that went astray. If not, how often would you send a guy like me to get it again and again and again?
I mean, I've had people that, you know, you wouldn't believe the number of stuff they cut out under the name. It's really kind of strategic in a way, because the way the background checks work is it will show up as, you know, either a pistol or a rifle. It doesn't go into the system as that specific firearm unless the ATF is flagged and involved. You could have someone go store to store, get 5 guns in their name, just one day, clean record, all that stuff.
Or you have someone in your family that has died from gun violence in Mexico.
Yeah.
Do you blame the guys in America selling the guns?
I don't. I just blame the shooter, really.
How do you feel about being involved in a business that arms the cartel?
It sounds worse than it is in a way. I mean, you think about it is, what I'm doing is basically doing what larger corporate companies have done with other third world countries.
Ain't lying, that's
You know,
facts.
Taliban
That's
has
facts.
all guns made in the USA. What I do is I still make those people money. You know, the big corporate, big gun industry still gets money from me, but I also make some money myself in a way. by just doing what they're already doing, but on a smaller scale. Even if I stopped what I was doing, someone would just come and fill in for me. Might as well try to make my money in that way, and it's something that's happening in a whole different country.
So gun smugglers will risk prison time for a few $1,000s of profit a month. But what about the big players in what some would call the military-industrial complex? Let's just look at the Russia-Ukraine war, for example. Lockheed Martin's stock hit an all-time high. Raytheon's production lines are going off the charts. Billions of dollars in weapons have flowed across the Ukraine border and across the European nations that are gearing up, looking to refill their arsenal in what has proven to be one of the biggest spending sprees in defense since the Cold War. Now this is where the gray area comes in. Is this right? Is this wrong? Because whether you look at Ukraine, Israel, Afghanistan, one man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. I don't know the answer to all this, but what I do know as a tax-paying citizen is what I've gotten out of the deal are dead soldiers, civilians, destruction, a bad reputation globally, while these companies in the military-industrial complex have reaped the profits in the billions.
Making bank, boy.
Well, I don't think the gun manufacturers make the guns to give to bad guys to like rape, pillage, and carnage their own countries. So I don't think that's a good way of looking at it.
What made you choose this job over anything else you could have done?
Honestly, the thrill of it in a way, and just a large interest in guns on my part. The money's there. I got lucky with, finding some people. Honestly, I think this is a lot morally acceptable than drugs, safer than drugs, less corrupt, less dangerous,
So my mom was in jail, I needed to put food on the plate, and then once people started offering me guns for product, and tremendously, no product was damn near getting a gun for free, that's really what changed my eyes, because of some kid who went and robbed a car and found a gun in the car, and he was scared to have it at home. So he came to me and he said he didn't want that. He'd rather have a little bit of weed.
How much weed do you think you gave him?
Probably 7 grams. And that same night, I ended up selling it to somebody who ended up taking it to California and making money off of it. So everybody ate at the end of the day.
2009-10 was like our wild, wild west days out here where we were in.
I'm about to pause this. I'm about to give it a little part 2 and shit, you know what I'm saying? This joint long as